Good day. My name is Irene Nasted, and I'd like to share with you a PowerPoint presentation I made for Shelf Life Books, November 12th, 2020. It's on the book, my book, Life as It Falls. It's an artist book. It's a narrative of poetry, prose, quotes, and images that I created in mixed media, collage, and photography. I'd like to thank the following for their support on this artist book, Light as It Falls. I chose to self-publish because there's a lot of pros to it, ownership, copyright, freedom, control. The cons, of course, are the cost, marketing, and promotion. The three books that you see on the screenshot are books that I published while I was at Mount Royal University in education. The two are in art education, and the other one is education. For many years, I've been creating artist books. I've got many in different sizes, and I've compiled them with media, images, and I started using them because I didn't have time to make what I call big A art, and it kept me fluid in my art making, and it was beyond the sketchbook, journals, and diaries. So Light as It Falls is finding balance in one's life. It isn't always straightforward. It involves light and shadow, blacks, whites, and grays in art making, writing, and life. There's several reviews from various authors, and the one that I've got here is in the balance of form, the content in this work, Irene Nasted achieves her mandate of creating equilibrium, and that's Cecilia Fry. The second book that I have just published is Art Making, a Companion in Solitude. It's a book that contains 38 letters and over 100 visual images that I made. So this is just some information about the book. I will be doing a book launch with Owl's Nest on January 26, 2021. Here's a couple of pages from some of my artist books that I did take images from and put into the two books. And this is a series of mixed media monoprint stencil stamp prints that I made, and I have a poem that was published by Shanty Arts. I did a whole series of close for the season prints and paintings, sold 3 versions of them, and it was also published by Shanty Arts. And this is where I was preparing for the first book. I laid out the text and images that I was going to use, and I decided to print it just in black and white. To begin, there's nothing a markless paper. Everything depends on the strokes of my brush and pen. This is a soul print, and the poem I created, Dark of night, soul with little light. It's okay to wear dark glasses and pack a sad. Permission granted. Go through pessimism. Take on the bad. We can feel bad. The Voyager, this is prose poetry based on my husband, who's a sailor. This is my impression of what we were talking about sailing. I read the ripples in the water. I'm less successful reading the ripples in my life. Storms at sea are undesirable. Rain is inconvenient, but ripples don't interfere. I've never been a whale, dolphin, or salmon, but I would think one could swim faster with mouth closed. And the mixed media watercolor and ink of fish is what I chose for one of my artist books. An important thing is leaving a sign that you are here. And this is a small collection of words, footprint in the snow, in the sand, in the grass. Leave a sign, I have traveled here. I'm fascinated with the clouds and in the Calgary skies. I have my studio that overlooks the Calgary landscape, and I often look and paint it. Sometimes dark clouds gray my day, blacken my night, blot out my sun and moon. Sometimes thunderclouds spark my interest, excite my thoughts, lighten my mood, transform me. And the cloud strata, I really do think the sky and clouds affect many people. And I notice that when I wake up in the morning and throughout the day. I call this one cloud strata. Horizontal layers, flat, hazy, featureless, above ground fog. Dark gray to nearly white. Light drizzle, maybe snow. Low altitude layers with meteorological activity. A reflection of my life. Cirrus clouds, wispy ice composition, thin streams of mare's tail, a good sign, imminence of fair weather. Every day the sun rises, then sets. I must quiet the moment, breathe the air, embrace the change of seasonal conversion. And this is my impression of growing old. In my well-lived life, I have curved my lips, smiling, laughing, frowning, crying, creating arches from my nose to chin through worry, concern, thoughtfulness, compassion, joy, happiness. I have creased vertical lines between my eyes from astonishment, surprise, amazement. Over my many years, I have developed horizontal valleys on my forehead, sculpting marks of recognition, awards of a well-lived life. This is a relief of actually a mask of my face and then ink drawings. When I was a child, I was grounded, winter, spring, summer, and fall, moving arms and legs in snow, sand, and fresh green grass, making angels, artifacts, leaving a sign, I was here. This is a multimedia stencil print and monoprint of my family, my sisters and my brother. And this is, I guess, my thoughts on growing up. One should not create for an audience, create for yourself. She creates cultural artifacts. She played to her audience, all the people merely co-actors with entrances and exits. Some stayed a short while. Most don't stay the course. She created the backdrops and manipulated the sets. She dressed for her parts to please the gathering, almost meeting expectations. Her world, her stage. She learned early the cultural norms, the ways of her world. Was aware of common beliefs. Good girls who follow their scripts have the opportunity to bathe in applause. This is a collage. It's actually in the second book, Art Making, Companion in Solitude. Learn to invent your worldview. Make it up, imagine it. Create balance. If you don't, your life will get made up for you by others. I've read a fair amount of Carl Jung's Shadow Self. He did a lot of artwork, mainly mandalas in his work, and considered the shadow self. One does not become enlightened by imaging figures of light, but by making darkness conscious. And this is a thought that many artists have. I found this drawing of a girl in my sketchbook, artist book, that I felt encompassed the fear of a blank canvas. The blank canvas, every time I stare at the blank canvas, I begin insecure. My marks and words appear merely childless efforts. And then the blank space. Facing the blank space is courageous. Mark making begins with the conversation or confrontation. The artist's eye, hand, body, mind, and soul. Mistaken words or paint cannot be erased or covered over. The space will never return to purity. But this happens in our life, in our writing, in our artwork. If you've ever tried working on a fresh canvas and tried to cover it over, it never works. You have to work with what you have. Before one can appreciate the light, one must first know the darkness. Morning shadows. This is actually shadows on my bedroom wall. Creep across stark bedroom walls with slits of light between glinting blinds. Must cover blurry eyes and stay till sun falls behind ill-defined horizons. Another shadow on my bedroom blinds photograph. Balance is found not in the shadows, but in the patterns of light and dark. One thing against another. Without shadows, there would be no balance. And balance is what gives art its method of expressing, plus in your writing, and you need darkness in your life. Over the years, I have often passed through my valleys of darkness to catch a glimpse of the light. This is a photograph of candles. The dark cannot exist without a surrounding white. White shapes cannot exist without dark. To define it, the two elements are really one. Each is what the other is not. This is a description. My father was undertaker, and he prided himself on the makeup he would give the deceased. And a couple of times he'd ask us to come downstairs. We lived above the funeral home, to have a look at his handiwork. I think he always wanted to be an artist. And this is one that I felt really impacted me. It was, well, you'll see when I read this. White is opposite of black. Mourning, sadness, death. Too much can be overwhelming. And this is a collage poem I call White. Little white coffin, mother cries. Father lets a tear, gone to a better place. God has a plan. Fly with the angels among the clouds, perfect baby dressed in white. I had asked my father what the baby died of, because it was a perfect baby, and he didn't know. He said, they don't know. And after that, the SIDS became researched. The longest shadows are cast by the most distant sun. Sometimes dark clouds gray my day, blacken my night, blot out my sun and moon. Sometimes thunder clouds spark my interest, excite my thoughts, lighten my mood, transform me. So this is me enjoying wine tasting in Sonoma, California. Please keep in touch. Look at things that I'm posting on my websites. And I have many videos using mainly the music of the fragments and my art images. Thank you for joining me.